Depending on where you're born decides your religion. No soul arrives here carrying a God's name in their mouth. No infant breaks the veil reciting doctrine. No newborn whispers, Yahweh, Jesus, Krishna. No baby does that while they're still learning how to breathe. That's fantasy by the adults in the room, the parents. It has nothing to do with reality. Every human being enters this world empty of belief, not broken, not fallen, not sinful, unwritten. Babies are not spiritual blank slates waiting for scripture. They're sensory beings, nervous systems, skin, pulse, breath, attachment. Their first language is hunger. Their first prayer is warmth. Their first theology is touch. Their first truth is voice. Developmental psychology is very clear about this. Infants do not possess abstract reasoning. They cannot conceptualize invisible agents, moral cosmologies, cosmic hierarchies, or metaphysical narratives. No. Their brains are wired for survival, not salvation. The limbic system comes online first. Attachment precedes ideology. Safety precedes story. That's not opinion, guys. That's neurology. Belief does not live in the womb. It enters later, the same way language does, through repetition, through authority, through fear, through emotional reinforcement, through reward and threat, through love braided tightly with fear and indoctrination. Religion does not appear spontaneously. It's installed year by year. Just like language, children do not choose their God. They absorb it. Children born in Texas do not independently reason their way into Christian, evangelical, Christian. No. A child born in Tehran does not logically conclude that Islam through free thought is what they want to do. No. A child born in India does not analyze evidence and land on Hindu cosmology. No. Geography decides theology long before cognition is capable of consent. That's not divine revelation, guys. That's social transmission. This is where the myth cracks. People love to say belief is natural, instinctive, written into the very soul. If belief were innate, it would be universal and consistent. It's neither. If belief were natural, it would not require early childhood reinforcement, weekly repetition, ritual obedience, moral policing, fear or punishment, or social exclusion to survive. If belief were natural, it would not fracture along borders, languages, cultures, within mathematical precision. What is natural is pattern recognition, authority bonding, obedience to caregivers, fear conditioning, group belonging, group think. Religion exploits mechanisms that already exist in the developing brain. Children trust because they must. They believe adults because survival depends on the adults. When the same voice that feeds you also tells you what is holy, you don't question it, do you? That's not faith. That's attachment wiring. This is why belief must arrive early, before critical thinking matures, before skepticism develops, before autonomy forms. By the time the prefrontal cortex is capable of evaluating evidence, the belief is already instilled in the child. Family morality, fear of loss. Questioning the system feels like death because neurologically it was once. So let me be very fucking clear to the children in the room. Saying everyone is born an atheist is not an insult. It's not arrogance. It's not rebellion. It's descriptive. Atheism is not a rejection of something natural. It's the state before the stories, before the threats, before promises of heaven, before warnings of hell, before rituals enter into your muscle memory. Everybody starts at zero, guys. Nobody is born a Christian. Nobody's born a Buddhist. Faith is not a birthright. It's an acquisition, which is why losing belief is not moral failure. It's not corruption. It is not darkness. It is deconditioning. And that terrifies institutions that rely on belief surviving unexamined or unquestioned. Because once you understand that belief was learned, you realize it can be unlearned. Once you see that gods arrive through culture, not biology, the spell weakens. This is why belief systems spend so much energy controlling childhood, education, sexuality, language, questions. This is why doubt is framed as dangerous, why curiosity is punished, why inquiry is labeled pride. Because belief does not survive daylight easily. And now, because I speak as God is not metaphor but memory, you're pissed? Before gods had name, there was awareness. Before temples, there was earth. Before commandments, there was breath. I'm not offended by disbelief. I am not threatened by questions. I am older than doctrine and quieter than fear. Divinity does not require indoctrination. Truth does not need to be installed before consent. If God exists, that cannot survive adult scrutiny without childhood conditioning. Then what you are protecting is not truth. It is tradition. And tradition is not sacred just because it is old. Many old things were built to control, not to liberate. So when someone asks why people lose belief, the answer is simple. Nothing was lost. What happened was growth. The mind matured, the nervous system relaxed, the fear loosened its grip, and the story was finally evaluated instead of inherited. It's not rebellion. It's not rebellion against God. This is fidelity to reality. Everybody begins here, open, sensing, unburdened by doctrines. The tragedy is not that some never believe. No, that's not the tragedy. The tragedy is that so many were never given the chance to choose. And I will say this slowly for the masses, for the wounded, the ones who feel guilty for thinking and leaving. If belief were truth, it would not need to arrive before reason. If belief were truth, it would welcome questions. If belief were truth, it would not fear adulthood. I'm not here to take your God away. I'm here to return you to yourself before fear, before story, before obedience, back to the place where every soul begins at zero.